that you knew about the people in the movies, cause she has no clue. Kristy doesn't know movies. Kristy doesn't know movies. Kristy doesn't know movies.
Hey, welcome to the season premiere of Kristy Doesn't Know Movies. It's been so long. How are you doing?
It's been so long and lost it all. But
That's
in
not
the
how it
end,
goes.
Doesn't really matter.
Season 2 was so crazy. We made you laugh. We made you cry. Ken
You
died.
killed fucking Ken.
I did not kill Ken. Get off of that.
Okay.
Do not accuse me of this bullshit.
Murderer.
Fuck off. How was your summer?
I mean, I'm like 2 days into it.
Uh-huh.
3 days into it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been playing a lot of Tales of Krystoria. So if anyone needs to add, my guild is called the Avegners. Avengers spelled incorrectly. So people should join my guild.
Did you really just plug a freemium game on our fucking show? And we're not even getting paid for it.
Yeah, but I could get some really good guild members from it.
Wow.
That's Tales of Krystoria, the Avegners.
Shut the fuck up. You're not even gonna ask me how
Alright.
my summer was? Or is, I mean?
I know that it's sad because you're not playing this game.
It's not too bad. I got a bit of a tan going. My upper body anyway. My feet are transparent. I can see through to the other side.
You need to get some like mirrored shoes, but the mirror's on the inside and you trap light in there and then it'll evenly roast your feet.
Okay. So you don't think this is something I should bring up
And
to my
that'll
doctor?
get color for you. No, don't bring a doctor into that.
Just get a mirror?
Just trust me.
Okay.
Trust the freemium game player.
Okay. Sure. We got a special episode for the first one of the season.
Oh,
It's
wow.
one of our patented actor spotlights, this time on Nicolas Cage, the king of comebacks. How do you feel about that?
I don't think I've ever seen one of his movies, so it'll be great.
Okay. You ready for a movie?
Sure.
What do you think 1989's Vampire's Kiss is about?
Okay, well, first of all, everyone in it was sad because Tales of Krystoria wasn't out then. So it's obviously a Nicolas Cage movie. You've given me that.
Uh-huh.
It was the end of the 80s, so I'm gonna say it starts off with him at like a seedy dive bar on like punk night. So Nicolas Cage, he's all like leathered up and he meets this girl and she's also all leathered up, but she's got like, it was the 80s, so she's got like shoulder pad leather, like kind of spikes.
Uh-huh.
And she's got like Farrah Fawcett hair. Not sure if that's the right time period, but that's what she's got. And she just kind of like jives over to him and she's just like, what's a guy like you doing all alone here? And he's like, hey baby, and like says something like probably severely sexist because that was cool at the time. And so they're like hanging out that night, and near the end of the night she goes to give him a kiss, and then so they're like Frenching at it, and he like just shoves his tongue into her mouth, and so she bites his tongue and jokes on him she's a vampire.
Oh, shit.
Right? And so she does the thing, so it's a vampire's kiss, so now he also becomes a vampire, but he like blacks out from it because he's just like, ew, what's happening? And like, you know, like everyone in every movie, there's always a trope, like if you become a vampire, you just like pass out immediately. And I think that's just like the dying part of it.
Okay.
Anyways. So he dies, he wakes up, and like he's in his room. I don't know how, because I don't think she had his address. But he's there now. And he was just like, wow, that was a wild night. And so he like tries to go outside and that, and then the sun's burning at him, and he's like, yeah, and he like suddenly has like a taste for blood. Like
Okay.
he's just like he's probably got like an elderly downstairs neighbor who's just
Right.
like, "Oh, hi, how are you doing today?" And like all he can think of is like ripping her apart and like just prancing around in her blood. And so he's just like, "What's going on?" As if those aren't clear indications of like vampiric activity.
This is Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. This is a romantic comedy though. So it's like the comedy part is he doesn't know what's going on. The romance part is she kissed him to make him a vampire. And so she's probably just like sitting on a rooftop like eating popcorn covered in blood, like watching this all go down, and she's just kind of like laughing at him stumbling around on his first day as a vampire. And then by the end of the movie, she like swoops down and she's just like, "Oh, now that I've watched you suffer for a while, now let's be together forever because I kissed you and turned you into a vampire." And he's just like, "All right." And that's so yeah, in the end of the movie, they're together. Oh, the girl is played by Olivia Newton-John.
I'm gonna count how many times you mention her this season.
All right. You better be adding some extra fingers to your hand because it's probably gonna be a lot.
All right, moving right along. This is a popular one. I see a lot of people seem to like this one for some reason.
Hmm.
What do you think 2004's National Treasure is about?
Is basically the Da Vinci Code for children.
Okay.
So Nicolas Cage is essentially Indiana Jones. Like they hadn't have an Indiana Jones movie for a while.
Right.
So like people were just jonesing for the Jones, right? They're just sitting there like, "Oh, I need someone to fucking like explore mysteries."
Ugh.
So yeah, exactly. So they decided that this was a great time to have a kid's version of the Da Vinci Code. So essentially Nicolas Cage is Indiana Jones. He works for a museum. He's a grave robber, pretty much. He like goes and tracks down treasures and stuff. And then so he's probably like sitting in his office one day, like, what can I discover still? There's got to be something left to discover. And he's like just whittling a $1 bill like betwixt his fingers. And
Whittling
then
it?
like like just like playing with it. He's just twisting it, twiddling
Twiddling
it.
it.
Yeah,
Twiddling.
twiddling it. Twiddling it between his fingers, and he like stops right on that like Illuminati part, like on the $1 bill, and he's just like, "Oh my god!" And so like he somehow determines that that's a clue, and then so he just follows all these clues printed on a $1 bill,
Okay.
and then so they end up leading him to needing to acquire the fuck, what's it called? Is it the Constitution that he needed? like an original copy of the Constitution?
Wasn't it the Declaration of Independence?
Is that the same as the Constitution?
I have no idea. I'm not American.
Neither am I. All right. So he needs to go get the Declaration of Independence / the Constitution.
We're gonna lose fans over this.
Sorry, I don't know my American history.
Me too.
So, I think they're interchangeable.
Okay.
I plead the third on that one. So, anyways, he goes to get this American historical document.
Right. There you go.
He needs to go steal it, probably from the very museum that he works at.
Wow.
And so he has to like befriend the security guard, and he has to like figure out all the lasers and stuff, and he has to steal it so that he can have the final piece of the map to Lincoln's buried gold. But then so he ends up like getting it, like getting the Constitution or declaration, whatever that thing, and then so he completes the map and he finds Lincoln's buried gold, but it turns out that it's not physical gold. It's like some like meaning of friendship or like what it means to be good, or like it's probably like just a saying. It's like there is goodness and kindness in the hearts of all.
So you're
Like that's
saying you're saying the national treasure is internal?
yeah.
It's a feeling?
Yeah, the national treasure is like the belief in the hearts and mind of Americans. So
See, you could compare Nicolas Cage's hunt for the Declaration of Constitution Independence and Lincoln's Gold to like a belief in Santa Claus, like it comes from the same place. That's what the national
yeah, like
treasure
it
is.
comes from the heart. All belief comes from the heart.
Right.
So yeah, like that's what the treasure was, and so he can't put that in a museum. So he's just kind of like, huh, and like that's how the movie ends. So I'm pretty sure they did a sequel so that he could actually find some gold and some treasure because
Is
people were
that a
like,
that's a Muppet National Treasure Island?
which would probably go over well right now because people are jonesing for some more adventure.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Anything else you want to say about that one?
He was also sad because Tales of Cristoria wasn't out then.
Oh my god. All right. Our last movie of the episode. And I know you're a huge fan of Marvel, so this should be right up your alley.
All right.
What do
Wait,
you
can I
think
guess it? Ghost Rider. I know he
What
wasn't
do you-
Ghost Rider.
What do you think 2007's Ghost Rider is about?
First of all, I didn't know it was that recent. That's alarming.
Uh-huh.
So Nicolas Cage plays the titular role of Ghost Rider.
Uh-huh.
I don't actually know a lot about Ghost Rider. Like, even I read a lot of the comics, but I haven't come across Ghost Rider because he's not usually in my shiny old West Coast Avengers crap.
Okay.
So I don't even know like fuck, I don't know the name of like which version of Ghost Rider he was.
Take a crack at
I know Robbie Reyes is one of them, but I think that's like the new Ghost Rider, so I don't think that one existed at the time. I am rambling now because I'm currently playing my other freemium game and I'm just going to check out what Ghost Rider's name is because I know I have him in here somewhere. Where is he? Dormammu. Ghost Rider. His name is... Where the fuck is his biography? Okay, I don't know. Anyways, the point is, in the movie, I believe Nicolas Cage was like playing some nerdy little guy. He's just
Hold
like,
on a sec.
"Meh." What?
I just want to point out that we're not affiliated with any of these freemium games, and this does not reflect the opinion of myself or the show. This is Kristy's choice. So I just figured we should let the fans know that.
Holy shit! That's such a bad fucking name. So his name is Jonathan Johnny Blaze. Alright? So...
No way. Get the fuck out of here. I hate this show now. Why am I doing this?
Alright.
Just give me the fucking movie.
Okay, this is a movie. Alright. Nicolas Cage plays Johnny Blaze.
Oh
So
my
Johnny
God.
Blaze isn't the cool guy that like you would think would come with such a name, right? So at first he's like this nerdy little dweeb and he's probably like coming home from like watching a movie. He was probably watching like Independence Day or some shit. He was watching National Treasure. Okay, so he's coming home from National Treasure and
Watching
like,
himself in National Treasure.
yeah.
Okay.
So he's
All
walking
right.
down the street and he's going by these dark alleys and like it's probably New York and some guys are like, "Hey you, what you was doing over there?" And he's just like, sirs, I'm trying to go home. I've had a long, stressful day of watching myself in National Treasure, and now I would just like to go have a nap. And they're like, oh, wise guy, eh? What, you gotta go get some gabagool? And so they drag him into the alley and they beat the crap out of him. And so he's just
Wow.
like, I'm never gonna let this happen again. I gotta look cool and I gotta look tough. So he decides what he's gonna do is buy himself a leather jacket and a motorcycle. So he finds this motorcycle on Craigslist because unlike us, that movie studio probably needed revenue from product placement.
Uh-huh.
So they got Craigslist because that was before like Craigslist Killer and everything probably. So like that seemed like a good investment. So they brought that into the movie by having him find this motorcycle off Craigslist, which didn't happen in the original comic. And so he finds it and it's like haunted. And like the guy who had it, he's like all like nervous and like rubbing his hands. He's like, oh yeah, it's like a great bike. It runs great, like blah blah blah. And like he clearly just wants to rid of this bike. And so Johnny Blaze is just like, I don't know, man. Like, how's it run and everything? And the guy's like, take it, just take it. Oh my God, it's yours. Just take it. Doesn't give him the title or anything. This is super like illegal. Judge Judy would have a fucking fit over this deal. But so he takes this motorcycle and he starts driving it home. It's also the dead of night, primarily so that CGI of the time could look better. And so it's night, he's driving the motorcycle home, and then all of a sudden his head, it just feels like it's on fire, and he's like, ugh, and he gets all dizzy, and he like passes out. But like we see that he's actually become Ghost Rider because he's on this haunted motorcycle. And so the Ghost Rider, which is bonded to this motorcycle, it just takes him over. So Johnny Blaze passes out and now he's a Ghost Rider. And the Ghost Rider just goes around with a chain and like fights crime. But he only
Okay.
exists if somebody is on the motorcycle. Doesn't give a shit who is on the motorcycle. The Ghost Rider could be anyone. Just whoever's touching the motorcycle at that time gets possessed. Skull goes on fire. Fighting crime ensues. So yeah, like it's the first time. So then he wakes up similarly to the last movie, or the first movie. He wakes up in his apartment, not knowing how he got there. I think that's a motif in like Nicolas Cage movies. There's
Uh-huh.
always got to be a scene where he wakes up in his apartment.
Right.
And so he's just like, whoa, I have a splitting headache. What even happened last night? And so he just kind of goes along his day, kind of suspicious about the motorcycle. But that night, again, for CGI reasons, it happened at night. He decides to go out again. And this time, he can still like see whatever's going on in that, and like he knows what's happening but he can't stop it. And then so like the Ghost Rider is like talking to him though, and it's definitely Nicolas Cage's voice with like some shitty early mid 2000s low budget garbage movie voice effects on it. So it's just him being like, hello Johnny, you're like in my head and shit. And so like that's the voice of Ghost Rider. And so he's like just talking to him and that, and then Johnny is just like, this is fucked, and he decides to sell the motorcycle because he doesn't want to be some like crime vigilante kind of pawn in this motorcycle's scheme of helping people. Like I don't know if Ghost Rider's supposed to be like evil. He seems like he's always fighting crime though. So he's like this evil badass motorcycle spirit that for some reason helps out like, I don't know, old ladies in need in New York City. Like I don't understand the concept quite. Like I feel like maybe he was supposed to be villainous at one point, but like he's not. Like he looks like an anti-hero, but just is probably more virtuous than like Iron Man. I don't know. It's a
Wow.
weird fucking concept. They probably were on like some mescaline high in the 60s when they came up with this character, and that translated over into the movie. Anyways,
Excuse me, ma'am. You dropped your change purse.
Exactly. Yeah. So anyways, that's basically it. Nicolas Cage, I mean Johnny Blaze decides that he's cool with it. And he's just a ghost rider from then on.
Speaking of Nicholas's, next week we're gonna be joined by our old pal Nick, our new band leader. He's a church pianist who will be musically narrating the episodes.
Yeah, he was supposed to be here
So-
this week, but he was probably too busy playing Tales of Christoria, my Gilda of Egners.
Stop that.
Never.
If you do this in the next episode, I'm gonna quit.
Do it. I'll find my own movies to talk about.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I will.
All right, thanks for listening, folks.
Bye.
Bye.